Hello folks, in this video I'll be playing PTFS, or Pilot Training Flight Simulator, a game here on Roblox that has become popular recently, and I figured I'd come check it out, and I actually started playing 3 days ago, and I love it. It's like a super fun flight sim, and I thought I would make a video today on ranking and reviewing all of the aircraft that are currently in this game. I will not be reviewing the aircraft that require a game pass, such as like the Concorde or the A380, but I will also only be reviewing the jet airliners, not any of the military or cargo or any of those things. But if we can get this video to 20 likes, I will be making a video about the best military aircraft in this game. All these rankings are just what I think they should be. Let me know in the comments what you think, what your take is on them, and I'd love to hear. And yeah, let's get on with the video, shall we? Just to get this out of the way, I'm not really a fan of ATRs. I mean, nothing really wrong with them, just I'm not really a fan of them. This thing can only really get to about 200 knots, which is kind of understandable considering it's just a small propeller plane. But I've flown in the Dash 8 in this game before, and the Dash 8, flying in a straight line, can get up to like 360 knots. So that's a huge win over the ATR for the Dash 8. Alright, so we are now up in the sky in the Airbus A350, and its top speed, because the only accurate way that I can calculate its top speed is to fly at full throttle, and in a straight line, the aircraft is flying at 470 knots. So overall, I would give this plane a rating of, let me think about that for a second. I'm going to say, considering it's a small aircraft and it's very fast, it can get from point A to point B very quickly, I'm going to rate it an overall 8 out of 10, because it's a very fun aircraft to fly. Definitely could use some trim, and overall, like, work done to it, because if you look at those cockpit windows, they don't look anything like it, like they do in a way, but at the same time they don't, because the A320 does have those kind of shaped windows, but they're not big bubbles like that. Alrighty guys, so currently I've just taken up the A320, and I have it in the American Airlines livery, but due to copyright, this game had to make it Americano. But holding at 2,649 feet currently. In a straight line, we are flying at 447 knots. This plane, I guess I've never really had much experience with it so far. This is literally my first time flying this aircraft. Its maneuverability is slow, which is definitely expected since it's a larger plane. But it's kind of a little bit disappointing because I've flown in 747s in this sim before, and even those 747s have a lot faster of a reaction time than this aircraft does. I'm gonna rate this aircraft's overall funness probably a 7.5 out of 10. Now, I tried to get a US Airways livery on this aircraft, but unfortunately there's not that in this game. So the closest thing I could find was an American Airlines livery, a tribute to Sally. Splashdown. So we are now in the A330, which is the next aircraft up in the lineup. We are currently flying at 475 knots. Now, considering the last aircraft that we flew in was an A320 with quite a high top speed, flying in a straight line, this aircraft comes similar to that aircraft in speed, but this aircraft is a lot larger, and when I say a lot larger, I mean like more than 2 times the size. The thing that I find most exciting about this aircraft is its ability to do this thing. It's something called spreading butter. And I don't think this aircraft is meant to be on this runway, but yeah, that runway is definitely way too tiny for this aircraft. But yeah, definitely A330. I would rate this thing 9.5 out of 10. 340. This aircraft is actually one of my favorite aircraft because it just looks cool. Has 4 engines. But yeah, this aircraft very fun to fly. It top speed is 470 knots, very close to the A330 and the A320 in terms of speed. And yeah, very fun aircraft to fly, as I mentioned. And I don't see anything wrong with this aircraft, really. It's extremely, like, this model is extremely overpowered because of its 4 massive engines. The only thing that's bad about it is its fuel economy. Fuel economy is definitely not the best. But overall, I think it's a pretty good aircraft. 9.5 out of 10 as well. Flying at its top speed, which is 487 knots. This aircraft I've not flown on yet in this game, considering I've only been flying in this game. I've only been playing this game for 3 days now. 3 days ago was the first time I actually played this game. It seems very responsive. Its airspeed is... I find all of the Airbuses so far have had similar, like, within about 30 knots of each other. Overall, I have nothing to complain about this aircraft. So far, this aircraft is a 10 out of 10, really. It's very fun to fly. And the first Boeing aircraft that we have to review is the Boeing 707, of course, the classic. Very old airliner. The first actual jet airliner. Very fun aircraft to fly. I love it. I have nothing bad to say about this aircraft, like, in terms of its performance in this game. Obviously, fuel is a big thing, because fuel does run out very fast. So if you're looking for an aircraft to go across the map, back and forth, if you're not stopping, and if you don't stop for fuel often, it's probably not the right aircraft for you. But if you're just looking for an old classic to fly around with, or just want to test it out, go for it. It's a very nice aircraft to fly in, other than fuel consumption. As you can see, I've almost burnt a full quarter of fuel just going to the nearest island and back, which is not very far. So yeah, I'm gonna rate this plane an 8 out of 10. And next up from the 707, we have the 727. The only Boeing-made tri-engine aircraft. Tri-jet aircraft, I guess. This aircraft is just 5 knots slower than the 707, but you think about it, it has only 3 engines compared to the 4 engines that the 707 had. I'm gonna do a nice landing for you here. Oh, I still got some airspeed on me to shut off.
10.
There's my initial touchdown. And yeah, pretty cool. Definitely recommend this aircraft. 10 out of 10. The Boeing 737. It is an old aircraft also, just like the 707 and the 727. But in the sim here, it's actually one of the newer versions. So even though 737 is a very old aircraft, it's still in production today, and it is has very many modern versions. Now this aircraft, flying at 454 knots, which is lower than what the 727 and 707 flies at. But this aircraft is, I almost want to say it's the same size as the 727, around there. Only 2 engines, but definitely a lot newer engines. a lot newer plane. It's a 737. What else do you expect? It's not the fastest thing, and really, if you think about it, does an extra 100 knots really matter? It's an okay aircraft. Like, I don't really have anything good to say about it. Like, there's nothing really great about this aircraft, nor is there really anything bad about this aircraft. So I'm gonna rate this aircraft meh, 6.5 or 7 out of 10. I'm gonna say 6.5. We have this almighty 747 in the Pan Am livery, known in this game as Dan Am. Its cruising altitude, or its max, or sorry, not its cruising altitude, its max speed at a steady altitude is 495 knots, so just below 500 knots. So it's a very nice aircraft, and yeah, nothing bad to say about it. Very good aircraft, 10 out of 10. Definitely recommend this aircraft. The pencil plane, the Boeing 757, which is also same aircraft that Trump's private jet is. Just so happens to be. It's a very overpowered aircraft because it has two massive engines, Rolls-Royce engines, that are powering this long, narrow-body aircraft, which gives it a whopping top speed in a straight line of 458 knots. So I'll see ya in a Boeing 767, which is next up on our list. Right, so we are in the 767 here. Flying a straight line, our top speed is exactly 444 knots. Sorry, that speed calculation was inaccurate because my throttle was only at 98% and not 100%. So it actually 2% made. Let me do my math here. 2% throttle made a 13 knot difference, but I'm full throttle reverse actually. Ooh, that may just actually happen to be a good landing. Maybe not the smoothest landing. Yeah, I'm not going to be ever able to stop with that type of airspeed. Oh well. On to the 777, which actually used to be, whenever I first got into aviation, the 777 was my favorite aircraft. Fun fact. Alrighty, so we are currently flying at 518 knots in the Boeing 777 here. Turning off altitude hold, this thing, I did a vertical takeoff with it pretty much. It's got lots of power in it, and I like it. Nothing bad about this aircraft. 10 out of 10. I like it. Easy to land as well. It's definitely an easier aircraft to land than others. Alright, so we are in the last of Boeing's fleet here. We have the 787. The windows aren't really exactly accurate on the very front. Haven't really had much flight experience with this aircraft. I like it in the Korean Air livery though. I just think it looks cool. The Pepsi livery, as people joke, because the logo. Just an average, speed, kind of right in between, right in the happy middle of Boeing's speed, typical airspeed. But yeah, moving on to the next aircraft, which is actually the Bombardier CRJ. Finally, something that is not an Airbus or a Boeing. We have a Bombardier. It is a... Wait a second, what's going on here? Oh, my volume was turned down for a second. Yes, this is a short-haul airliner. It's not really meant for medium-haul or long-haul flights. Nor would it have the fuel capacity. Considering its size, it is magnificently fast. Like, it is at 447 knots heading in a straight line. It actually maneuvers very nice, very quickly. I love Bombardier. They're a great Canadian company. And, yeah. This is a great aircraft. And, we actually have another Bombardier coming up next on the list, which is the Dash 8 Q400. Pretty cool. Of course, my favorite, the Bombardier Dash 8 Q400. There we go. Nice landing. And with these engines, if I go full reverse thrust, they can bring me to a stop relatively fast. At this point, I can still pull up if I wanted to. That's going to be the case until I get below 130 knots. So if I try to turn off the runway at this speed, I'm just going to roll. See? Like I'm going to roll. I'm not actually going to turn my front wheel. Yeah, now I can turn my front wheel, which is nice. And the MD-11, it looks lovely in the KLM livery. It's top speed, still yet to be decided because I'm still speeding up here. Even though I'm maintaining a steady altitude, I'm still gaining speed because I just took off literally seconds ago. Waiting to see what it is. Still gaining. That's crazy. Looks like it's going to be 473 knots. Crazy considering it was still accelerating after all that time. I'm honestly not sure why this aircraft has the third engine. I don't know if it's because the other two engines wouldn't really make it fast enough or what the reason was to add that to the tail, but to be honest, I'm not sure. This airplane, like, I like it. It's not my go-to aircraft. I mean, I like it in the KLM livery. It looks nice that way. Fast enough aircraft. I would rate it probably 7 out of 10. So, it's not like my go-to recommendation, but I would say it's definitely better than some others. And this is a McDonnell Douglas aircraft, so we'll have another McDonnell Douglas aircraft here just in a few seconds for you, but it'll be probably like 5 minutes for me. The MD-90, also one of my favorites here. We are currently flying at 437 knots. I definitely recommend this plane. It's fast for its size. It's got 2 engines in the rear. I love it. I love the Boeing 717, but this is just pretty much a bigger version of that. The Boeing 717 is the same as the MD-95, and this is the MD-90, which is just a larger version of the MD-95, so pretty cool. I like this airplane, 10 out of 10 in all categories. I love it. And only the last one on our list is the Embraer ERJ 190. And just a connector flight aircraft. I mean, I like it. Embraers are cool. I think Bombardier is the coolest though. Let me know what you think in the comments. But its top speed is still being decided. It's still gaining speed. Even though it's just a tiny aircraft, I guess it maintains like the same speed as those big Boeing and Airbus jets. I guess because it's a weight to thrust, or a thrust to weight ratio is about the same. 470 knots is its top speed. But overall, this aircraft, like, its maneuverability is definitely not the best. Could be a lot better. Its maneuverability could be improved a lot. But overall, I'd say this aircraft here, it gets an 8.5 out of 10. Like, there's nothing bad about it, just that its maneuverability isn't the best. That's about all that I would rate on the downside of it. Everything else is fine. Like, it's a good aircraft. I recommend it if you're looking to go between islands, but I mean, if you're looking for something higher speed, definitely go for something else. But I mean, if you're just wanting to train on something that's like this size, definitely the go-to option for you. If you guys have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. If we can get this video to 20 likes, I will be making another video on reviewing aircraft in this game, but I will do a military version if I can get this video to 20 likes. So also comment down below if you think that there is a different rating that we should have. or if you have any thoughts or suggestions for future episodes, I would love to hear. So far the results, I'm not quite sure exactly at the current moment what they are, but I will pop them up on the screen. I will make a Google Doc for them to display the results or whatever rating I think I would give them. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching.